Quitting is a natural part of working. So we don't need to feel awkward or defensive. Like I said, you haven't done anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. And so we shouldn't feel awkward or defensive talking about it. And most people have quit or made a change in their career, so they'll be understanding. That's why we want to manage the relationship with them, leave on good terms, and stay in contact. You never know when they may have an opportunity for you down the road, or you may have an opportunity for them. Hi there, friend, and welcome to the Design Your Happiness podcast, where we work to live, not live to work, and the financial gains and well-earned free time of the lives and careers or business we've designed have taken the place of those late work nights, stressful, all too short weekends, and feelings of just getting by. I'm Rebecca Hayes, a corporate girl who recently decided to branch into entrepreneurship because what I really enjoy is helping others define their own path. And for me, that comes at the intersection of the life you want, the career or business you enjoy, and the money to make it possible. And that's where Design Your Happiness comes in. So let's work together to reclaim your finances, reimagine your life and career or business, and redesign your happiness so you have the confidence, energy, and concrete strategies to build the life of your dreams. Are you in? All right. Today we're going to be talking about how to quit your job without burning the bridge. So, in this episode, we'll be diving into 6 tips that can actually build your goodwill as you leave, plus why you want to quit on a positive note, in case it isn't obvious. But before we go there, I have a new free guide called The 6 Pitfalls to Avoid When Leaving Your Job. I'll link to it below so you can snag that guide and start working through your steps to confidently leave your current job and move into what's next. And now, let's go ahead and get into the best way to quit your job. In every job that you have, you will naturally build a network or community the longer that you're there and the more people that you work with. And it's really great if you can keep those connections and take that network with you, even after you leave the job you're in. Because people change jobs and careers all the time. So you never know when you may cross paths with someone you're working with now in the future. And so it's so good to leave your job without burning any bridges, and if possible, on a positive note. And we do that by taking a few steps to be professional and communicate in a neutral or positive way as we exit our current job. So let's get into these 6 tips for quitting your job gracefully. See, endings don't have to be a bad thing. Often they're a sign of growth. You'll hear me say that a lot. And with a little planning, your exit doesn't have to be messy either. So, first things first, notice. How much time to give notice before your last day? So, generally in the US, 2 weeks is standard for most jobs. Right? We hear that all the time. I'm going to give my 2 weeks notice. And that's totally fine. But some may require or encourage a bit more notice. So, you can check your employment contract because a lot of times it'll have whatever the required or encouraged period is. Or when you're ready to give notice, you can confirm your last day with HR and open that door. Next, have the conversation. I'm a big proponent of transparency. I know it can feel intimidating or scary to have direct conversations with the people you work with about leaving. But once you've let HR know that you are leaving and you've confirmed your end date, from a relationship management perspective, it will always be better for your boss, your manager, and or your team, depending on the role you have, to hear it from you that you're planning to leave, right? Rather than for it to just be a surprise on your last day. So, when having this conversation, it's totally okay to keep it short and light. You don't have to give it all away or justify or explain yourself. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing, right? You're just making a change. So, keep it professional and cordial and just stay true to you. So, if you were doing this, you might just let them know that you've really enjoyed the experience or working alongside them, but you're ready to try something different, or maybe a new opportunity came along that you couldn't pass up. We've heard that one all before. Or whatever you want to say about why you're leaving or what you're leaving for. Again, you can say as much or as little as you want. And then just close it out by saying you want to stay in touch. Whatever you choose to say in these conversations, you want it to be true for you. And it should sound genuine coming from you. So, quitting is a natural part of working. So, we don't need to feel awkward or defensive. Like I said, you haven't done anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. And so, we shouldn't feel awkward or defensive talking about it. And most people have quit or made a change in their career, so they'll be understanding. That's why we want to manage the relationship with them, leave on good terms, and stay in contact. You never know when they may have an opportunity for you down the road, or you may have an opportunity for them, right? Maybe you really enjoyed working with them. Maybe they're great at whatever their job is, or certain other skills that you learned about while you were working with them. And there might be a time down the road where you all working together again makes a lot of sense. Or it could just happen by chance, right? So we want to manage that relationship. Another way to stand out as you're exiting your job is to help with the transition. Of course, when it makes sense. So, this could be actually helping hire or train the person who will replace you, or it could simply be creating a process manual or a playbook. Something where you write things down that you've perfected or that would help the person who takes the role after you. Offering to make the transition smoother for the company and the person after you just compounds your goodwill, because it's generally not something that you have to do, and most of the time you won't even be asked to do it. But it is something that can make a big difference in making the transition a smooth one, where there aren't any missteps. Not to mention, it helps your boss or manager and even your teammates, because they aren't trying to fill in the gaps or remember when or how you did things. We want to leave them in a good place. Okay, so my next tip when quitting your job is to send a farewell email on your last day. It can be short and sweet, just saying that you're grateful for the opportunity to work with them and giving your personal contact info. This lets people reach out if they want to and has you leaving on a positive note. It also lets anyone else know that you are leaving. And by that, I mean anyone that you maybe did not have a direct conversation with because they are, a bit more distant, but they are people that you have worked with or built some kind of relationship with at the company. And so this way you're just telling them yourself, right, that you are leaving. And then my final tip, if you do an exit interview of any kind or if you give your feedback, keep it professional and constructive. We want to be tactful when we are leaving, and we want to communicate things that actually matter to the company and or the person after us. This is not the time to air any grievances or to go off on any tangents. We can save that for your therapist or your best friend. But be honest and give constructive feedback if asked. Or if there's something that you know would be really beneficial for them to know as you're leaving, share the knowledge. In my opinion, constructive feedback is always welcome. But again, honest, constructive feedback only. And those are my 6 tips for leaving your job on the best possible note and hopefully taking so much of your network with you. Because you worked hard to build those connections, right? You successfully did your job, you worked hard in that role, and you made a difference. And we want to take those connections with us. And quitting a job doesn't negate that. So, when you're ready to leave your current job, use these 6 tips to seamlessly and confidently move into your next chapter. And just to recap, those 6 tips are: first, give 2 weeks notice, at least. 2, be prepared for your last day to be the day you give notice. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does. 3, tell the people you work with directly that you're leaving. Have the conversation. 4, offer to help with the transition in whatever way makes sense. 5, send a farewell email on your last day. And 6, give constructive feedback only in your exit interview. All right, now before I close out, I want to hear from you if you're going through an exit or if you've recently left your last job. Let me know how it went. Let me know if there's anything else that you did that helped you leave on a positive note and take your network and connections with you. Feel free to send me an email. I'm leaving it below. Until next time, keep designing your... Hey there, friend. We've made it to the end of another Design Your Happiness episode. And if you're loving what you're hearing and you know someone else who would benefit from hearing it too, please share this episode with them. I can't tell you how much it would mean to me to support even more ambitious, aspiring entrepreneurs like yourself. So send them a text or a quick email with the link, and let's help even more people build the lives and businesses they've been dreaming about. All right, I'll see you next time. Until then, keep designing your happiness.